One way to gain a full appreciation of this rich culture. So, full appreciation of this rich culture, American Indian culture के बारे में बात हो रही है. Full appreciation uh, to know real what about it. Okay. Full appreciation is to examine an American Indian poetry. So, how to know this American Indian culture? It is through American Indian poetry. So, here poetry is very important. For poetry and all culture, the most and now why is it important? Like here we said with through, but now they are telling that why it's more important. Poetry in all culture, the most central and articulated of arts. So yeah, they gave the reason कि why poetry will be more beneficial to know about American Indian culture because they told because like poetry in all culture, the most central and articulated of arts. More now they are telling more about it. It is especially important that we study American Indian poetry. Why we should study? Why it is important to study American Indian poetry is that the poetry can create a context that gives cohesive expression to the crafts and the artifacts and the isolated fact that many Americans have managed to notice willy-nilly. So this means that isolated facts, crafts. So like line sentence means that poetry. Why is it is important? So it is saying that the poetry is important um, because it tells things, craft, artifact, and isolated facts that a person cannot know directly. Like it's like a culture. It's like something which you need to know. If you are at that culture, you will able to know automatically. So the poetry is kind of art which express these things. Okay. Next, even a survey of American Indian poetry reveals a range of poetic thoughts. So, poetic thoughts and technique that defy easy generalization. So, it's the poetry is not general. Mm, and it's like specific. It's very different, very different. So, it can only be known if through poets through like art things, okay, like an art, like a painting, like through poet. So these things, techniques, they defy easy generalization. Now they are talking about a person named Gerald Ramsey, okay. So Gerald Ramsey says has also a summary, however, which serve at least to give the uninitiated reader some sense of what American Indian poetry is like. Uh, Overall, he writes it represents an oral formulaic, traditional, and anonymous art form. So he's saying that it is like oral, like we only spoke it by words. Formulaic, don't have much idea. But let's see. Uh, More in passage, traditional, like old traditional, anonymous art form. It's an anonymous art form, like not much is known about it. Whose approach is to emphasize the mystic and scared component of reality. Okay, it is something about this. Let's read further. It flourished to public performance. Now they're talking how this art form is flourished. It flourished to public performance is very important by skilled recitals whose audience already knew the individual stories and valued the performers for their ability to exploit their material dramatically, and to combine their stories. Okay, stories in longer cycle rather than their plot and invention because the poetry belonged to ethnocentric tribal people whose culture we still do not know much about. It is likely to seems all the more tense and more cryptic. Okay, so this thing is saying, this para is saying that ki, like here it is saying that ki, they're talking about this poetry or something which is recited by like a skilled recitalist, um, who who already know the individual stories, like these Indians, their culture, everyone knows some stories. Story is known to everyone, and the when these poetry are recited, everyone know what they are talking about. So it's about that ki if you know the culture, you will know the poetry. So it is like that's why they told that ki, this is very cryptic. It is cryptic and more tense. Cryptic means hard to know what they are talking about.